everybody, it's TJ here. Welcome to another episode of Smash Ultimate Countdown, the show where we count down the days to the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch on December 7th. A day that I don't know if you've noticed is drawing ever closer. We're here to break down the blog, cover the items, stages, characters, any other Smash related news that breaks throughout the week. And thanks to you, we do it in style. I really appreciate everybody who's been commenting in the comment section below, joining the conversation. That's the most fun part about this countdown for me. So please feel free to leave your opinions about anything we cover in today's episode or anything Smash related. Let me know what you want to hear in a future episode of the show. And as always, I'm gonna weigh in with my opinion, because I'm just too excited to contain myself. Let's jump right in. We start this week off with an assist trophy, this time featuring Kapp'n from the Animal Crossing series. Kapp'n is a character that goes all the way back to the first Animal Crossing game on the GameCube. Over the course of my play with that game, Kapp'n and I became buds. For those of you who don't know, he's the character that ferries you from the mainland to the island, and if I recall correctly, you can only access this island if you used your Game Boy Advance SP and you linked to the GameCube with a special adapter, the same adapter that you played Legend of Zelda 4 Swords with. The island gave you access to a new fruit, a coconut I believe. If I'm remembering incorrectly, I'm sure somebody will let me know. Anyone who's played Animal Crossing knows very early in the game you find yourself deeply in debt to Tom Nook. And you perform a whole host of various and sundry tasks to try to earn bells to pay off your debt. So like most people, I was a shell collector, an archaeologist, a fisherman. At one point I had an entire orchard of all kinds of different fruits, but eventually I would settle on becoming a pirate. Now I achieved this by exploiting the link between the Game Boy Advance SP and the Nintendo GameCube, because if you just brought a whole bunch of bells to the island and you deposited them on the island, and then you disconnected your game, I don't remember exactly how it worked, but you were basically kind of duplicating your bells each time you did it. So with the help of my pirate companion, Kapp'n, we managed to extort all kinds of bells. So Kapp'n and I got pretty close. Another thing that you may or may not know is, in Animal Crossing, the only human character is the player. All the other characters are some sort of animal. When we look at Kapp'n, most people probably assume he's a turtle or a frog, but he's actually based on a mythological Japanese creature called a kappa. Suddenly that name Kapp'n starts to make some sense. Kappas are typically depicted as being mischievous creatures. They like to perform pranks on people, but sometimes they can be downright dangerous, dragging people into the water. Of course, Kapp'n in Animal Crossing is totally a stand-up dude. As the series progresses, we get to see more of him and meet some of his family, and they're good people. But I do think it's kind of funny how they associated a dangerous water creature with the creature that is responsible for transporting you across the water in Animal Crossing. Now in Smash Bros., Kapp'n gets a little bit closer to the mythological roots. Although not taking advantage of his aquatic qualities, in Smash Bros. He drives a bus, but he does spell trouble. If Kapp'n crashes into you with the bus, not only do I imagine that does some damage, but he will drag you full across the stage to your doom, presumably. I think it's great Kapp'n finds his way into Smash Bros. For me, he's a very familiar and friendly face. Love seeing more of him. I know there's a lot of Isabelle fans out there, but of all of the Animal Crossing NPCs, Kapp'n's probably the one that I had the most prolonged interaction with. Let me know who's your favorite Animal Crossing character in the comments section below. The first character highlight of the week is for Sheik. Sheik has become a very well-known Legend of Zelda character, even though she has only canonically appeared in one game, that being Ocarina of Time. That game came out a long time ago, so I think it's safe to say, without a spoiler warning, that Sheik is actually Princess Zelda's alter ego. During the main story of Ocarina of Time, Ganon is hunting Zelda down, so she's in the disguise of Sheik in an effort to elude him. Sheik at various points in the game interacts with the player, provides some help for Link, and also plays a role in some of the more critical plot points. I don't know how it is for any of you when you originally played that game, but I was completely thrown off when I found out that Sheik and Zelda were actually the same person. Actually, I have to say that I felt like Sheik was Zelda, but because Sheik was a man, and obviously a man, I knew it couldn't be Zelda. And Sheik's gender continues to be a point of confusion even up until the Smash blog of this week. The blog post on SmashBrothers.com refers to Sheik as a he, but the same post on Twitter and Facebook refer to Sheik as a she. And this isn't anything new. A simple online search will show you hundreds of videos and articles debating Sheik's gender. Personally, I think it's semantics. Zelda is a female and identifies as a female. Sheik is a disguise. Now, whether that disguise is simply changing her clothes like Link does in Breath of the Wild to sneak into Gerudo Town, where he passes himself off as a girl. We never actually question whether or not he is a male, but he has undergone no physical change other than convincingly passing himself off as a girl. Now Sheik, we know that there have been some physical changes where the musculature as well as the form resembles more of a man, but Is this a magical transformation? Is it an illusion? I really don't think it matters much. Some have debated that psychologically, Zelda believes herself to be a man, which then would confuse the issue even a little bit more. But the point being, Sheik is Zelda's alter ego. Before I knew that Sheik was Zelda, I thought of Sheik as a man. Knowing that Sheik and Zelda are one and the same, it's hard for me to think of Sheik as a he. As I said, personally, I don't think it much matters, but it is interesting how not even Nintendo agrees on how to refer to this character. Just as a point of curiosity, let me know in the comment section below, do you think of Sheik as a male or a female? Sorry to eat up so much time with that, I just thought it was kind of interesting how there's a discrepancy even amongst Nintendo's blog posts. As recent as this week. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this character. When Sheik was first introduced to Smash Bros., it was alongside Zelda as the same character. One of Zelda's special moves actually transformed her into Sheik, so you basically had two characters into one. I thought this was amazing. I thought it was a really impressive and cool character mechanic. It took everything that was really mysterious and amazing about Sheik's appearance in Ocarina of Time and made it playable in Smash Bros. You got to actually see the transformation in effect. And because Zelda and Sheik played so differently, playing against people who were Zelda mains was a really fun experience. Figuring out when it was advantageous to be Zelda and when it was advantageous to be Sheik. It wasn't a character who I ever got good with myself, but it was a character I spent a lot of time playing as because I really thought it was a super cool presentation. The Zelda-Sheik combo would continue into Brawl, but for the most recent iteration on the Wii U and 3DS, Zelda and Sheik were separated, and this was due to the 3DS's inability to be able to perform the transformation. There was a similar circumstance with Zero Suit Samus and Samus. So instead of just cutting Sheik altogether, we now have them presented as two separate characters. Before Smash for Switch was announced, I was curious if Sheik would be restored to Zelda, much in the same way that Charizard was restored to the Pokemon trainer. Even though Charizard rejoins the team, Sheik and Zelda continue to be separate characters. I know that Sheik became popular amongst the competitive community. Whether or not that has any bearing on the decision to keep them separate, I can't say. Personally, I really do wish that they were combined again. I feel like that was what Zelda brought to the table. That was Zelda's unique gimmick. That was the mechanic that she had that really made her stand out from all the other characters. And I do feel like it really took something away from Zelda. I feel like it was a big, significant downgrade for her. Now, maybe a lot of you out there disagree with me. Maybe you feel like Zelda was holding Sheik back, or maybe if you're a Zelda main, you like that you get an additional move in the form of the Phantom. Don't get me wrong, I think that Phantom is a cool move, but it's not as cool as accessing a completely unique character. I speculate that maybe the decision to keep them separate was actually to bolster the roster a little bit more by presenting them as separate characters, which they were in the past iteration. It allows them to not have to do additional development work to figure out how to put them back together, but it also allows them to present two for the price of one. So if you were to take Sheik and recombine her with Zelda, now you're actually reducing the number of characters in your roster for Ultimate, and it seems like Ultimate is really about trying to give you more. So even though it's not giving you less, you still have the same amount. It might be the appearance of having less. But that's just my speculation. Sheik for this game appears in her Breath of the Wild design. Actually, it's not her Breath of the Wild design. It's the Sheikah costume that Link actually wears that he can buy in Kakariko Village. Although the mask was only accessible from the Sheik amiibo. I really love this update. I think this costume looks fantastic. Let me put it out there to you guys. For those of you who used to main the Zelda Sheik combo in previous versions of Smash, what did you think when they were separated? Did that impact your play of them? Who did you gravitate towards, Zelda or Sheik? Did it completely disrupt your game? And are there any players out there who wanted to main Sheik but didn't like that you had the obstacle of Zelda in your path? For those people, I imagine you're probably happy that they're separate. And then as more of a general question, are you like me? Do you wish that Zelda and Sheik were one and the same? Or do you prefer them as two separate characters? As always, let me know in the comment section below. The music selection for the week comes from Tomodachi Life called Afternoon on the Island. I love this song. I don't know what it is about it, but a lot of the Wii era music numbers that related to the Miis were just so catchy. Tomodachi Life, of course, was a 3DS game. I'm really sad to say that I missed out on it. It's a game that I think would really appeal to me. I love the Miis. I love all the Mii-related content that comes out. I just love Mii. I think the Mii games are so much fun because you can assign real people in your life into these various roles. It creates a lot of funny situations. I'm probably the only person in the world who's very, very sad that Miitomo is gone. R.I.P. Miitomo. A lot of people recommended Tomodachi Life to me, as well as Miitopia, actually. Two games that I would love. I didn't play them, frankly, just because I didn't have the time. Video games are definitely a big time sink, and sometimes adulting does need to take precedence. And sometimes when a game passes you by, you're never quite able to get back to it. Tomodachi Life is one of those for me, but I'm glad I at least get to enjoy the music from the game in Smash Bros. The stage we're looking at this week is Saffron City, one of the original locations from Pokemon Blue and Red, as I'm sure all of you retro Pokemon fans know. One of the interesting things about this stage is, whereas all the stages are upgraded and improved for Smash Bros. Ultimate, this stage was very lovingly created with its original rough edges, pixelated appearance. The Pokemon that appear are pixelated. It's always a tricky thing to make something retro look new and instead of look, I don't know, janky. I feel like they did a really good job here. It's like professionally old looking. Of course, it would be super easy for them to just upgrade this with a high resolution HD 3D model of Venusaur, but to try to reconstruct that nostalgia, maintain the art direction of the stage, I have a lot of respect for that decision. And of course, being somebody who played this original stage when it appeared in its original Smash Brothers, it goes a long way to recreating the feelings that I had when I first played it. It's kind of weird to say how it looks old, but it's new, like a new version of the old, but it does find a way to strike that balance between looking sharp and crisp, but also maintaining the integrity of the original pixelated art style. We've got another character highlight, this time featuring one of the original members of the Smash Brothers cast, Fox McCloud from Star Fox. Unless you're totally new to the show, you know that I'm not really the biggest Star Fox fan. For whatever reason, the games just don't particularly appeal to me. But that said, I think Fox McCloud is a necessary inclusion in Smash Brothers. His playstyle is very different than the other Nintendo mainstays like Mario, Link, Samus, Kirby, Pikachu, etc. And one of my favorite things about his inclusion in the first Smash Brothers is it was the first time that Fox was actually fun to play as for me, because up until that point, I don't know if he ever appeared outside of his ship, where you got to control Fox the character instead of Fox the Arwing. So for me, it was instantly a huge upgrade. Fox would later become famous with some crazy viral videos of him just flying all over the stage, doing insane moves that made me realize I would never have what it takes to be a professional Smash player. I would never have the reflexes or skills to roll with the big boys. I think Fox's speed is what really made him stand out in the early days of the Smash Bros. Competitive community. But for me, I always refer to Fox as the triple F. Fox falls fast. For somebody like me who really had a hard time keeping him on the stage, I needed a little bit more recovery time, and he just dropped like a rock. Fox is perfectly representative of the type of character that I really struggle with in Smash Brothers, but I will always remember really enjoying playing as him in the first game because of how cool I thought it was to be able to control him outside of his ship. We've got some aesthetic changes of note here. His voice work has been redone and his appearance has been altered to reflect his Star Fox Zero attire. It's always really cool to me to see upgrades to characters who've been in every version of Smash and how they change from title to title, and Fox is certainly no exception. You probably thought we were done talking about Star Fox, but no, the Smash Brothers blog has a new type of entry this week called the Flashback. Flashback. I added those other two flashbacks, there's actually only one. The focus of this flashback is the original Star Fox game that released in 1993 for the Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom. It has the distinct honor of being the first Super Nintendo game to feature 3D graphics. As impressive as those graphics were at the time, the 12 frame per second frame rate made it really difficult for me to play the game. I also found it very hard to manage my real estate on the screen, figure out where I was, aim my Arwing. Pretty much everything about that game made it unplayable for me. Combined with these super creepy metal-legged anthropomorphic Muppets that appeared on all the promotional art at the time, really just kind of turned me off of Star Fox. And even as sequels and remakes appeared on other consoles over the years, there just never really was anything to compel me to come back. I believe that there's been a Star Fox title on every single Nintendo home console since the Super Nintendo, putting Fox right up there with the rest of Nintendo's royalty. Now all we need to do is convince Nintendo to add Fox McCloud into Mario Kart. And Captain Falcon, Samus, and Kirby while we're at it. You know what, why don't we just call it Nintendo Kart? Smash Kart? Actually, I think we should do an entire Smash Brothers sports series. Okay people, I think we're onto something here. Why should Smash Brothers be the only game that gets crossplay between characters from all Nintendo's different franchises? This needs to be a thing. Forget Mario Party, even though it's downloading on my Nintendo Switch as we speak. Give me Smash Party. Give me Nintendo Party. Put all those Smash Brothers characters in. Racing games, sports games, party games. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see in the comments section below. And the final entry on the Smash blog for this week is the Gen 7 Ghost Fairy type Pokemon, Mimikyu. Now Mimikyu gets all kind of heinous on you. If it manages to drag you under its claw, it will pummel you without mercy. You can't move, mind you. And should your damage exceed 100% during this brutal assault, boom, instant KO. So in keeping with the true spirit of Halloween, Mimikyu coming for you. And that wraps up another episode of Smash Ultimate Countdown. Thank you for joining me. If you had fun, like this video, For more, subscribe to the channel. I hope it's helping you fill in that time between now and the time when Smash Bros. Ultimate releases for the Nintendo Switch. Help me fill in my time by leaving some comments in the comment section below. I do read everything, I respond to as much as I can, and it's no exaggeration to say I really love reading what you have to say, learning about all of you, your likes, your dislikes, all that good stuff. We're a family here on NintendoWire.com, and I want you to be a part of it. To everyone who supports me on Patreon, thank you very much. I love you guys. Hope to see you all next time. Thanks for playing.